Hey, you want to watch some TV or something?
Skip it. Well, I'm getting ready to watch a video.
Really? What?
Nothing but foul language and toilet humor.
I'm disgusted and repulsed and I can't look away.
I need these things! I need these things! Tell me, do you want to go? We're stopping in on the color line.
Oh, no way, Jose.
This just in, go to hell!
This conversation can serve no purpose anymore.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
Hello, friends and listeners. You are listening to a brand new episode of Watch Skip Plus, a weekly movie review podcast with a lifestyle twist. I'm Alex, also known as MC Barbie Barbarian, Mr. Meatball Mondays, and I'm joined by my beautiful co-host, Jose, Mr. Cupcake, Machine Gun Jam and Jelly. Cupcake, how are you doing this morning?
I feel 20 pounds lighter. I feel great. And
good.
I have one more performance of Evita.
Nice.
Last night's performance, everybody killed it, especially our lead as Evita and Arche. It's good stuff. Good stuff.
Nice.
Also, I'm still trying to figure out where do I put my eyes? Like, where do I look? Because I noticed that when I look directly at the camera, it looks like I'm looking above the monitor. So I think it's okay to just look at the screen. I don't know.
Look wherever you want. The struggles of doing video. I put you up as close as I can to my camera, and I just stare into your eyes.
Oh. I love it.
Jose, what movie are we reviewing this week?
We are reviewing Anora. I almost said, never mind. It is directed by Sean Baker, and it's got some prestige to it because it won the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival. The Palme d'Or, if you don't know, is the Golden Palm, which I think d'Or stands for, or Golden Leaf, sorry. And that means that it was the best picture at the Cannes Film Festival, which is a huge deal. And do you know why it's a huge deal?
Is it because they are normally nominated for Academy Awards for Best Picture?
Yes.
Or is that where
a
you were
big
going
deal.
with it?
The prestige, yes. But where I was actually going with it was Sean Baker became the first American to win the Palme d'Or since Terrence Malick and The Tree of Life, which I think was like a decade ago or 2 decades ago. So,
Interesting.
Go America.
I saw this as the 5th American film distributed by Neon to win in a row, but I didn't make the connection with the directors of those films not being American.
And I think the only other American director I can think of who's won the Palme d'Or is David Lynch, and he won for Wild at Heart, which, look,
really?
Wild at Heart is great, but it was widely regarded that the year prior they had not really awarded Blue Velvet, and Blue Velvet blew up. Yeah. And so there's a toss-up in the opinion that it was like maybe I don't want to say a pity award, but kind of like we fucked up, so here you go.
Like Leo winning for The Revenant? For Best Actor? Okay, yeah.
Correct. I would have given it to The Bear.
Yeah,
definitely.
Good one. Since you mentioned Wild at Heart, I should say Alexis and I recently did a double feature where we watched The Wizard of Oz and then Wild at Heart back to back, and it was incredible.
Insanity is all I have to say. I mean, really, the first time I saw it, I was like, Lynch loves The Wizard of Oz. What's happening right now? Very crazy.
Yep.
Very
and you get
crazy.
Creepy Willem Dafoe. His teeth in that movie, disgusting.
The flying head, and then my favorite was when she made her whole face red, and she's like,
I love the opening scene when Nick Cage like murders the man, and there's like the guitar, heavy metal guitar going on. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's incredible.
Sailor!
Yeah, love that movie. Okay, anyways.
So good.
Anyways, listeners, while we have you, please rate and review our podcast. It really helps. We're on YouTube now, so go subscribe there. Give us some thumbs up. I've been posting some shorts, so check out our shorts too. And then also, there are timestamps in the description, so feel free to jump around as needed. If you're just here for Anora, feel free to just skip ahead to Anora. But we hope you stick around for the fun. That fun is going to start with our Q&Alex question. So, Jose, I have a question for you. It's going to be related kind of to the movie.
Okay.
What would you do if you had unlimited money for a day?
Oh my God. You know what? So before, it would be like dumb shit, like buy a big movie studio or try to produce a film in 24 hours or something like that. You know what I mean? Like something fun like that. And then it was like other dumb shit, like just throw a global party, you know, for everybody. And it could be virtual, and then I could set up like installations or whatever. But given the current time that we are in, because by the time this airs, we will have a new president, I would say that if I had unlimited money for one day, I would probably plunk it into our political system somehow and figure out a way. Now, notice that I didn't say I would give all the money to the government, because I think there's an issue with how that money is being spent. And so I think if I had 24 hours and unlimited money, I would put together a consortium of people, use all of that money, and figure out how to improve the U.S. And yeah, and maybe abolish the two-party system. I don't know. The Electoral College, we will look at all of it in 24 hours. And it'll be a new America.
Okay, ignore things outside of yourself now. What would you do for you personally?
Buy a movie studio. Buy several movie studios and artist agencies, because one of the other things that when I do community theater, or even when I watch indie films, I think to myself, damn, these people are so effing talented. Why are they not on television? Why are they not recording things? And so I think I would buy maybe a talent agency or management agency, and then, you know, just show new talent off to people. Like all the people that are in my Evita production, they all deserve to be like on television or in movies. They're that fantastic.
Including you.
Maybe. Yes. So that's I guess that's what I would do. And it's rather selfish, right? Notice I didn't mention my husband at all or anything. But you did say, what would you do for you? So there you go. How about you? I can't wait.
Yeah, I would definitely pay off my student loans. And then I'm buying a house. It's not going to be like a bougie house, because I only have unlimited money for one day. So if I buy like some fancy house, there's still taxes and all that stuff you got to worry about. So I would just do an affordable house, nice to have. And then I think I would go to a travel agency. I'd buy a bunch of businesses like you, but I would go to a travel agency or something, and I'd say, okay, book me a trip every weekend for the next 2 years. And then I don't have to go on the trips, because by the time, like, I'm paying in full. By the time the weekend rolls around, it's basically like, oh, do I want to go to Italy this weekend? I don't know.
Maybe not.
I'm not feeling it. What's next week? Next week is Maui. Yeah, I'll go there. I'll save it for next week. So
I like it. Some future thought. I like it.
Free traveling for the next few years, as well as a nice house and whatever else I'd buy. I'd buy a bunch of clothes and
what I think you would need though to buy?
What?
A bakery. Don't you love to bake? And your girlfriend, your significant other, loves to bake as well.
Yeah, she loves to bake. I love to eat baked goods.
It's a win-win. if
That's
you buy
true.
a bakery.
Yes, and I would definitely need a home gym at the house I buy to work off all the baked goods.
Yes,
Yeah.
you could just buy like a Gold's Gym.
That is true.
Yeah,
That's true.
and daily
I'd prefer it
Ubers.
to be at my house, though.
Yes.
I don't
Well,
like
you can
leaving.
build it in your backyard.
Yeah.
Excellent. This
Awesome.
is good.
Yeah, thank you. So now we'll move on to our lifestyle twist. That is our pluses. Our pluses can be anything from our life that we want to talk about. Jose, what's your plus going to be this week?
Okay, so I a couple episodes ago, maybe 10 episodes ago, you did like shower time with MC.
Yeah.
So now it's going to be shower time with Jose. And so we are heading into the winter. And I wanted to plus these 2 new body washes that I am absolutely in love with. So there's a company called Naturium, Naturium. It was founded by an influencer, and I probably should have gotten her name, but apparently some people hate her, and so there's all these videos of like Naturium sucks. Don't give
Susan
her that money.
Yara.
Yes, I have no reason to hate her, and besides which, nearly every product that I've tried from Naturium has been amazing. So let me start with these. So these are 2 body washes. I don't know about you. I feel weird sometimes, like rubbing a bar of soap over top of me because it's been sitting out there. It's getting wet. It makes me a little crazy. So we'll start with the first one. It is called the Energizer Mandelic Acid Body Wash. This is 16.9 fluid ounces. And the great thing about Naturium is that they will tell you the pH levels of a lot of their products. So this pH level is 4.5 to 5.5, and that's like a sweet spot in terms of what your body should accept.
What's a pH? What's pH basically? Is that like
pH is like the continuum of like acidity.
Okay.
And in order for our skin to balance, because there's all this like fun bacteria that lives on our skin, in order to balance it, you want it to be a little under neutral, not too basic, which is one way, not too acidic the other way, right? But this has mandelic acid, which is a gentle alpha hydroxy acid. So what that means, folks, is it's going to make your dry skin cells drop off of your body. It's going to exfoliate. So rather than using a scrub, you use a gel like this with mandelic acid, and you just massage it all over the body, and then you rinse it. So then there's no need to do another scrub because this is the chemical version of the scrub.
I heard mandelic acid was Howie Mandel's urine.
Ew. And so this also contains fermented I'm not even gonna comment. This also contains fermented sugar cane, which is 4 groups of odor eating enzymes to neutralize body odor. Who doesn't like that? And then we've got nature identical methyl lactate. This is a cooling agent that gives an like a cooling feel on the skin. So it's almost like peppermint. It feels so good on your body. I did put it on my face and it got in my eyes and it felt like I got maced. So just watch this around your eyes, folks.
Yeah.
The other one that I really, really love is called the Glow Getter Multi-Oil Body Wash, and it is an oil to gel formula. You don't need a lot of it. It really does foam up. This pH is a 4.25, 4.75, so 7 is neutral, but again, you want your body slightly acidic, your skin slightly acidic, especially for me. I have eczema, so it's kind of a good idea. But this has upcycled apple extract. Apple saccharides hydrate and prevent stripping. Plant-derived squalene, ALANE. So it's derived from plants or like olives. And this helps, it's an emollient that helps improve elasticity and suppleness. The former version of squalene came from shark livers. But we like the ocean and we like sharks even though they eat people. So we don't want to do that. And then linoleic rich oil blend. So we've got jojoba, which is almost like a a natural wax that seals in moisture on the skin, rose hip oil, which is anti-aging, and then sea buckthorn oil, which helps to sort of like clarify. It helps with body acne. I really love this. It really makes my skin feel great. It's not going to rinse clean like a soap. So this is especially great for really, really dry skin. I mean, I feel almost hydrated enough after the shower that I don't need to put moisturizer on. I will note though, some people with body washes like to put it in their hands and like rub it. It's so easy that way. With the Glow Getter, what I would caution people about doing is if you do it that way, the shower floor might get really slippery. So I like to use, this is my Bowie silicone body scrubber. And it's got like a little ring. So you just kind of put your finger through there and then you just go like that. But you put the body wash in the oil thing, you soap it up, and then you go all over. Yeah.
I feel like I'm really in the shower with you.
And this is, with clothes on. But this is by Bowie, Boie. It's completely silicone, so I don't have to worry if it's hanging out in the shower that there's like microbes growing on it. And I do love the ring. There's another one where you can like put your fingers through like a webbing thing, but it doesn't work as well as this. So, yep. That's my plus.
Nice.
Naturium Energizer Mandelic Acid Body Wash and Glow Getter Multi-Oil Body Wash. They also make a lotion for this, which is fantastic.
Awesome. Yeah. Love it.
How about
Thank you very much. I love shower stuff, so who knows? I might buy some.
Get it.
So
put up a video. Just kidding. Maybe not.
So my plus is I've always told Alexis, I'm like, ideally my pluses transform at some point into I'm just giving presentations because I love giving presentations. So I'm kind of going to do that this time. If you don't care about rap music, you could probably skip to after the pluses because this is going to be about rap. But specifically, this is Tyler, the Creator centered because his new album, Chromakopia,
I was going to ask. I love it.
came out. I'm wearing a hoodie for our audio listeners. So yeah, I'll tell you about Tyler, the Creator and why I like this album so much. But I got to take it back first. So he's from LA. He started making music, YouTube videos, and skateboarding with his friends in their like late teens, early 20s as Odd Future. That was the name of their group. Members include Grammy-winning R&B artist Frank Ocean. Are you familiar with Frank Ocean?
Yeah.
Yep. Lionel Boyce, who plays Marcus on The Bear. Hip-hop lyricist Earl Sweatshirt. And new Jackass member Jasper Dolphin, to name a few. There's a bunch of people that were in this group, but now those are some of the big ones, including Tyler. So Tyler was the founder and the leader of Odd Future. His breakthrough was with the song Yonkers off of his album Goblin. Yonkers has a very interesting music video that brought him a lot of attention. There's like 150 million views or something.
Wow.
And he was known at the time for his transgressive style and his controversial lyrics. So he kept that style with the rest of his album Goblin, and then he followed that up with Wolf and Cherry Bomb. And he gained popularity. I was a big fan of him when Goblin came out. My introduction was Yonkers. And the shtick just got old. He was a angsty teenager, and it seemed like everything he was doing was just kind of for shock value, you know? So I definitely fell out of a fandom with him at this time.
Ew. I'm sorry. I was playing the video.
For Yonkers?
There's like a Madagascar bug that he's playing with, and then he vomits. Wow.
He eats it and vomits. And at the end of it, he hangs himself. So it's very...
Continue. I'm so sorry. I'm
no.
It's shocking.
I love it. Thank you for looking at it. But he had the world tour of Cherry Bomb, and he had to cancel his shows in the UK after being banned for 4 years from entering the country for his homophobic and misogynistic lyrics and the depictions of violence towards women in his songs and videos. So, at this point, you're like, this guy kind of sucks, right? Yeah, Jose's sliding away from the camera. But on that tour, Tyler traveled and performed some songs with legendary producer Pharrell Williams. And Pharrell has now sort of infamously told Tyler something along the lines of, like, you have all the talent in the world. You can be special, but nobody will ever take your music seriously if you don't take yourself seriously. And Tyler has kind of stated that was the moment that changed his life.
Wow.
So in 2017, his follow-up album was Flower Boy. It released to critical acclaim and was nominated for a Grammy for the Best Rap Album of the Year. And this album saw his style change completely to a much more personal and melancholic sound. And his lyrics also discuss his sexuality in a serious manner for the first time, which reveals that he's bisexual.
Curious that initially there were, yeah. But that could just, honestly, so when we hear those kinds of lyrics, sometimes we're like, oh, okay, Tyler, the creator, hates gay people. But we need to understand that songs can also be art. And so, Eminem says this all the time, like he's playing a character, right? That's not me. I'm playing a character. Anyway, continue. I love this. I made by an album.
So this is where kind of a storyline in Tyler's personal life develops for me as a listener that I've just like learned through the lyrics of his songs. It was after Flower Boy, he released a single titled Best Interest, where he discusses a relationship he's in, or he's the other man, where someone is cheating on their partner with Tyler. He's saying like, yeah, I don't care. Like, as long as I like this, we can do this as much as we want. There's no like greater relationship for us, because he doesn't want that relationship, but he likes everything else that comes with a relationship. And so he doesn't care that he's the other man. But then, more on that later. In 2019, he released my favorite album of all time, Igor. He sports a blonde wig and these bright colored suits, and his music changed from rap to alternative. So Flower Boy introduced this more neo soul genre to his hip hop music. Well, Igor kind of completes that, but incorporates synthesizers and lo-fi vocals to make it more R&B influenced and more funky kind of. Wow. So it did win the Grammy for Best Rap Album of the Year, but Tyler expressed it as a backhanded compliment, and that if he wasn't black, he wouldn't be pigeonholed into a genre that his music didn't fit into, because he doesn't feel like it's rap music, and he won Best Rap Album.
Interesting.
Him and DJ Khaled got in a beef because DJ Khaled was like, he shouldn't. DJ Khaled was up for the Grammy too, and when Tyler won, he's like, it's not a rap album. Like, why did he win this? So they had a bit of a beef there.
Wait, DJ Khaled, is he the all I do is win, win, win?
Yeah. DJ Khaled sucks, but
I like that song. Well,
sure. I've heard his concerts are very boring, and it's him standing up there like, because he makes the beats, like he produces the music, but he doesn't really rap or anything. So it's him up there like doing the DJ stuff. But none of the like artists that sing the songs are out there. Anyways, Igor to me is a breakup album because he really expresses anger and jealousy and heartbreak, and those emotions aren't really stuff that we had gotten from Tyler before, and he does it in an interesting way where instead of telling you like through the lyrics of a song how he's feeling, it's kind of the music reflects those feelings. So that's why I love Igor. And then he released Call Me. Sorry.
He looks like Guile from Street Fighter in this picture of Igor that I'm looking with the blonde hair.
I do not know that.
Jean-Claude Van Damme played him in the movie Street Fighter.
I haven't seen. I'm unfamiliar with Street Fighter.
Colonel Guile. Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
But thank you.
Call me.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, Call Me If You Get Lost was released in 2021, and it's influenced by DJ Drama's Gangsta Grillz mixtape series. So this one's back to being hip hop focused. But in this album, Tyler details the relationship that was mentioned for Best Interest, where he fell in love with a woman who is in a relationship with one of his friends. And so he says it never got sexual, but they were hanging out all the time. They were like going on trips together for weeks, and they both fell in love with each other and had to kind of cut it off because she was in a serious relationship with one of his friends. And so he talks about like the heartbreak and how he never thought he would find love until he met this person and he fell in love, and then
they have somebody else.
Yeah,
oh my
they have
God,
someone
I
else.
can so identify.
Yeah, and so
that feels real.
It really does. And so it like I love that progression of this story, and it made me like Igor more because you like now I see it as a heartbreak. Like him after not getting the girl, he releases this Igor album that's a lot more emotional and it sounds so different. And I think that's why I connect to that one. But now on Monday, October 28th, he releases Chromakopia. Incredible album. It's very personal. So almost every song features narration by his mother. And he said that this album was inspired by like life lessons his mother taught him growing up that he never really considered or recognized and appreciated until he got older. Now he's, I think, 33 or he's in his early 30s, and now he's seeing those. So he touches on like the absence of his father, his mom telling him always wear a condom. Well, maybe he didn't, because he has a few songs where he got a girl pregnant.
Oh, wow.
And he discusses like not wanting to be like his father and be an absentee figure. He never has met his father. And so he doesn't want to do that, but he's also not ready to settle down. He got a girl pregnant that he doesn't love. It was just a hookup. He doesn't really know her that well. He's like, you're cool, but like this wasn't the plan. And he talks more in this album about kind of the struggle he's going through with that. So
that feels so real.
Yeah, it's very personal. But I can see how, like, if you just pick up Chromakopia and listen to it, you probably wouldn't pick up on all of that. So that's kind of why I wanted to detail his entire journey. There are a lot of songs that are more aggressive in this album. So there's some loud sirens going off and like chants and yelling, but then there's also like him singing his heart out for the first time, and like, not that it doesn't sound good, but you know, he's not a professionally trained singer, but he's still just like expressing himself that way, and I think it sounds beautiful, even though it might not sound like, you know, Lady Gaga singing or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Chromakopia, I got whenever it was announced, I bought like this package or whatever.
You pre-ordered.
It comes with this hoodie. It came with a poster. There's like this big shipping container is what it looks like that it came in. He has on his YouTube channel, Saint Chroma is a music video that he like used to announce this album.
Cool.
And it features like masked men like marching into a box, and then it explodes, and it's really cool. I would definitely check it out.
That's so cool.
Another really cool thing about Tyler is the physical versions of his albums are always different than what's on streaming. So this package came with a CD. I haven't listened to a CD in years, but I've been listening to it. Yeah.
Just kidding.
And it has one song that's not on the album that's on streaming. So it was really cool to hear this new song. And then also different songs have different features. So one, instead of having a Schoolboy Q feature, it has a Playboy Cardi feature. And some of them are just mixed different. Like Saint Chroma, the opening song of the album, it just sounds like it's mixed a little bit differently. And I don't know, it's those little touches that I always appreciate. He always adds like a new song onto each of his releases. So I really appreciate that. But outside of music, Tyler is known for being a significant figure in fashion with his clothing ventures Golf Wing and La Fleur, where he designs and works with a group of designers. And he also collaborates with Converse and Louis Vuitton.
Ooh.
And he's the founder.
I just caught that Chromakopia teaser. It's great. It goes to color.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
I should think you should choose one of the soldiers as your Halloween costume.
I thought about it, but
yeah,
it's pretty cool. So he's also the founder of the Camp Flogna Music Festival. So Flogna is golf wing backwards, like each word is reversed. And Golf Wing is his company or whatever. Golf Wing, if you change the G and the W, it's Wolfgang. One of his original personalities was called Wolf, so that's where Wolfgang comes from. Then it's Golf Wing, and then you get Flogna. So he's messing around all the letters. But the music festival has featured Kanye West, Drake, Kendrick Lamar, Lana Del Rey, Billie Eilish, to name a few. Like, it's a pretty big festival. And
all the passes are sold out, by the way, folks. So you are out of luck.
Yep. Tyler has appeared in a lot of TV shows. He had a sketch comedy show on, I think it was on Comedy. No, it wasn't on Comedy Central. It was on Adult Swim titled Loiter Squad. It was him and the rest of the Odd Future guys.
I'm sorry. Second word sounds like goiter.
Loiter.
Oh,
Squad.
I thought you said goiter like a big swollen pussy. Okay.
No, not
Thank
quite.
you.
But I know he's been on, like, he does voice acting. I think he's been on an episode of Rick and Morty. A couple of other shows I can't think of right now. But
yeah, it's Adult Swim.
Yeah.
Jasper, Dolphin, Sweatshirt, Boyce and Bennett, they're on here as well. Yeah.
Yep. Tyler also appeared, for us movie fans, in Jackass Forever as himself. He plays the piano and The Floor is Electrified. And he will also appear in Josh Safdie's upcoming film, Marty Supreme, starring Timothy Chalamet, about a table tennis player. So,
that's going to be
on the lookout for Tyler there.
Excellent.
Yeah.
This says sports drama.
Yep.
Interesting.
I think it's like a fictional table tennis player. It's not an actual biopic, but I think it sounded like it was supposed to be kind of like it. Probably something like Challengers. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. It sounds more like Balls of Fury, and I doubt it'll top Balls of Fury.
I don't know. Tyler's in it.
Yes.
I'm in.
I love it. That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Have you ever listened to Tyler?
I have not, but I feel like I maybe want to start with Flower Boy.
Yeah. That's where I would start.
Yeah. I think that's good because, the progression is, it sounds great. Actually, I don't know if you do this, but sometimes, like, if there's an artist and I only catch on, like, maybe with, like, the third album, I do make a point to, like, get the other ones and try to listen in progression after I've heard the thing that really gets me going or whatever, because it's always nice to look at that progression,
Yeah, 100%. I think I've talked about this before. I'm an album listener. Like, I love listening to an album all the way through. And so it's so much fun when you pick one artist out and you just pick consecutive days or whatever, be like listening to their first album, then their second album, then their third.
Yeah.
Like, you can really see them grow.
Segue, and then we'll keep it moving, folks. This is why we put the timestamps in here, okay? Because then you could be like, I had a cast member who was like, "You guys talk about so much or whatever, like it's taking me forever to get through all of your episodes." You don't need to listen from episode 1 all the way through, folks. Like, you can jump around. So the segue question is, and I'm probably maybe I'm the only person who does this. If I buy a new album, what I do is I listen to 4 songs, the first 4 songs, and then I just repeat it and I listen to those 4 again. And then when I get a sense of the tone and clarity and whatever of each of the songs, I move on to the further half of it. And then I will repeat that half and then listen to the entire thing. Is that how you do it, or do you just listen to everything all the way through?
No, that sounds really cool. I do just listen to it all the way through, but normally, like with this album, it just came from excitement. Like I'm just like, oh my gosh, I have to listen to it.
I just put it in my ears.
I'm listening to it 2 or 3 times in a row, and like getting to understand it more. And I like to do. There's the website genius.com, which shows like the lyrics. What I like to do, and I'm like halfway through it now, is like I don't listen to the album, but I read through all of the lyrics. And like by now I'm at the point where I can like to some of the songs, like I can do it in the exact pattern he's going in, but sometimes I like lose the pattern. But then I get to like read it and see what it's about and kind of understand that way for the parts that like I may be missing or misunderstanding in my like first couple of listens.
Very cool. Very cool.
But I like it. I like your strategy. That sounds cool.
Yeah. I think it makes me focus more on it. Also, I mean, traditional CDs are typically like close to an hour, but like I got stuff to do, so I can only sit for like half an hour and listen to like 4 songs and then move on. You know.
So if a movie was broken up like that, do you think you would do the same thing? Like maybe watch the first act and then be like, okay, I get it. Let me start over, and then like add the second act. Could you see yourself doing that?
Yes, I totally could see myself doing that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's interesting.
And sometimes that happens with like television shows that I'm watching, because I'm always like, wait, when did this happen? Oh, episode 2. Let me go back.
That's a good point. With Better Call Saul, or like a TV show I really like that is like currently airing. I guess Better Call Saul just ended, but I would like watch all of season 1, and then when season 2 comes out, I rewatch all of season 1 and season 2, and then when season 3 comes out, I watch season 1, season 2, season 3, and just go through like that.
Yeah, I did that with Mr. Robot, because I was just like, I'm not going to be able to catch up if I don't redo everything. But where does the time go? We all have stuff to do, and yet we are.
Awesome. Well, that's it for the pluses. We'll hop into our discussion of the film Anora. I did want to point out before I got into the crew, this does have a 98% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes and an 85% user score. I was also going to mention the Palme d'Or, but we already mentioned that, so it's out of here. But pretty highly reviewed so far. The director, writer, producer,
editor,
I think he did casting, editing. Sean Baker. So Baker is an American filmmaker known for his films that explore the lives of often marginalized communities. His film Tangerine from 2015 follows the lives of 2 transgender sex workers in LA, and The Florida Project from 2017 shifts focus to the world of hidden homelessness, with a family living in budget motels on the fringes of Disney World in Orlando, Florida. His style is very much rooted in empathy and respect for these characters, even though they are often unlikable. His films often feature non-professional actors to bring a feeling of authenticity and almost documentary-like feel to them.
Heck yeah.
Sean's other films include Takeout in 2004, Prince of Broadway, Starlet, Red Rocket. I may be forgetting more, but Jose, what's your opinion on Sean Baker?
So, I love Sean Baker. So you know how you always get that question, like, who's a new director that I should be like, whatever. Sean Baker should be on the tip of our tongues, quite honestly, because I while it is true that a lot of his early works talk about like sex workers and immigrants and how they're treated, what I like about his stories is that they're involving, they feel real, but he doesn't judge the characters. Like yes, you may not like the characters, but that's the reality that they're rooted in. They're homeless. They're doing sex work to survive. Tangerine is one of the films that was famous for being shot on iPhones, but it's it's so hyperbolic and out there. I know the first time I saw it, I was like, I don't get this. But then the second time I watched it, I was like, wow, there's a lot going on here. And the Florida Project, absolutely amazing. I haven't seen Red Rocket, but I do think the casting of Simon Rex, who was an actor who had done gay porn before, and he did not interact with any men. It was like what we call solo videos where he just, masturbated on camera. But Simon Rex tried to make it a go as an actor, and then that sort of scandal came out. He wasn't cast in stuff. He's had a resurgence after Red Rocket, actually. But what I think is interesting is that his character in that film is a former porn star who returns to his, hometown, and is sort of trying to like make a living after sort of crashing and burning, right?
Yeah, he also that movie was hard to watch because he's like obsessed with this underage girl. I can't remember if she's underage, but it's like it's very hard to watch at some points because it's like, man, he's kind of a scumbag. He's trying to have sex with this child.
It's kind of skeezy. Doesn't he like try to get her to be a porn star as well or something?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm gonna have to watch that. But but I love Sean Baker, and I didn't know this, but I feel like I should go to the Alamo Drafthouse and watch films more, because they had these interviews with Sean Baker and his wife and the stars of the film before, and it sort of pre-informed what I was about to watch.
That's cool.
Now that's good or bad, because sometimes I don't want to hear about all those kinds of things. But yeah. How about you? Have you seen a lot of Sean Baker films? What do you think about him?
Not really. Red Rocket was my first one. That was when I'd found out what A24 was, I guess, and I guess it was near the end of my A24 fandom. Not that I'm not a fan of their films.
Wait, it's over?
Now,
okay.
No,
it's over.
I think it was when I was on social media a lot and was seeing all their posts. They were promoting Red Rocket a bunch, so I bought their version of the Blu-ray when it came out and watched it. And I only saw the Florida Project last night, actually, because I was like, okay, I need to watch that or Tangerine before this. And the Florida Project is a movie that Alexis loves and has always been telling me to watch. So we watched it last night. I do like him as a director. And I do think I'll see anything that he puts out next.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'm going to go back and watch all of his movies.
Yeah. I might actually do that.
Yeah.
I will say the Florida Project, not to give it away, but I'm sort of like a legal something or other, as people know.
Yeah.
And that movie, unfortunately, it's way too close to some of the subject matter of my legal field, and it always kills me when I watch that. Yeah. I also love the fact that he's like, I'm going to cast unknowns, and Willem Dafoe is in Florida Project. I'm like, I don't know who that guy is.
I wasn't expecting Willem Dafoe to be in it as much as he was, because I knew he was in it, but I wasn't expecting that. I thought it was one of those things where it's like, yeah, we'll just get a big name in here for whatever, but no, he's in it, and he does great in there.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, you mentioned Sean Baker's wife. Her name's Samantha Kwan. She is his co-producer on all of the films he's done recently. She was an actress. I couldn't find anything huge she's been in other than How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. She was in that, but not a main character, obviously. Moving on, cinematography by Drew Daniels. He's an American cinematographer by the way of Texas. He's known for his work with A24, including Krisha in 2014, It Comes at Night, Euphoria, Waves, and Red Rocket with Simon Baker.
Nice.
Or Sean Baker. And he also recently shot TV shows Outer Range, which you love.
You know what? I've only seen the pilot. That's the sort of sci-fi-y ranch drama.
Is with Josh Brolin in that? Okay.
Yeah. It got canceled, unfortunately.
Yeah. I heard good things about it, so I was wondering if I should check it out. But he shot a couple of episodes of that. Swarm, which I think Childish
on Prime, the
Gambino,
horror
Donald
film.
Glover,
or a horror series.
did. Yeah, and then The Idol, which was like
The controversial Idol from the creator of Euphoria.
Yes, exactly.
I
So
heard it was garbage.
same. But that was all I had for the crew. Simon Baker does most of it. I couldn't find anyone on IMDb for the music. But there were some songs in this that I liked, especially in the strip club. I was having a good time. Yeah,
definitely. Actually, you're right. It's curious. There is no music.
Yeah, there's like a sound department thing on IMDb, and it lists a lot of people, but I couldn't find any like one specific like sound design.
That happened to me with Long Legs. I was like, there's no music credit on IMDb. And then after the episode aired, I looked on IMDb, there was a music credit. I was like, oh my God, we look like idiots.
So there might be one, listeners, when you look.
In the future. We'll just have to check. Okay, so on to the cast with me. I always say I'm not going to spend a lot of time, and then I spend a lot of time. But as you had noted before, Sean Baker really likes to cast people that aren't well known. And so that makes the story sort of come to the forefront so that you're not like, oh, it's Timothée Chalamet, like, whatever. Actually, I mentioned him because that's going to come up later. Okay, so our star is Mickey Madison. She is an actress. She's Jewish. Both of her parents are psychologists. Believe it or not, she was homeschooled. Okay. She is one of 3 siblings, and she actually has a twin brother. She appeared in shorts. Her first feature was a film called Liza, Skies Are Gray. I've not seen that. But she is best known for her role in FX's Better Things, which was created by Pamela Adlon, stand-up comedian and actress who stars in the film, the series, and it was created by Louis C.K., the C being for cancel. Anyway, most people will know her feature-wise. She's not been in a lot of movies, but she played the Manson family follower in Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. I think her segment, am I allowed to say that segment? Because it feels like it was different stories, right? But her segment was the most weirdest.
Bonkers,
Yeah, but it felt like revisionist history, like what he was doing with Inglourious Bastards. Anyway, this is not a Quentin Tarantino podcast, so sorry, Brad from Not a Bomb, who loves him. And then most famously, she was in Scream, which is technically Scream 5, but that was from the Radio Silence guys, Matt Bettinelli, Olpin, and Tyler Gillett. It's actually one of the better sequels, and they had a really kind of cool bang-up idea for bringing it back after Scream 4. Our other lead is a gentleman named Mark Alexandrovich Edelstein. He is a Russian film, TV, and theater actor. He has been dubbed the Russian Timothée Chalamet. So that's why I brought that up. There's another actor he kind of reminds me of as well, but I'm drawing a blank. He was persuaded to enter a theater university, that university being the Moscow Art Theater School Studio, after meeting with the dean of the acting department at the Russian Institute of Theater Arts. His breakout role was 2022's The Land of Sasha. That's under the Russian title Strana Sasha, which means young Sasha. So it's weird that there was like Land of Sasha. What? And he also has been in the recent film Pravednik, which translates as The Righteous. That was a World War I war film in Russia from 2023. He's also been on several TV shows and appearances from 2021 up until the present. I'm going to point out 2 Armenian actors, and they truly are Armenian. God bless Sean Baker and his wife for actually casting authentic Russian and Armenian actors. The one is Vashi Tovmasyan. He plays the sort of like muscle guy here to very great comic effect. He, in fact, is an Armenian actor and stand-up comedian. His biggest claim to fame is his 2010 show Vitamin Club, which was a stand-up comedy show. He has been featured in the film 2012's Lost and Found in Armenia, which was a film starring Jamie Kennedy. Speaking of Scream, he was in the Scream franchise. He's also a stand-up comedian. There's another gentleman here who plays Toros, who is sort of like the, shall we say, domestic liaison for the Russian parents. He is played by Karen Karagulian, who is also Armenian, but he has appeared in a ton of Sean Baker films. So Starlet, Prince of Broadway. He's actually really good in Tangerine. He plays an Armenian cab driver who has a thing for like transgender prostitutes, and his wife and mother-in-law find out, and it leads to a really awkward confrontation, which had me kind of cringing. And then now we're going to get to an actor in this film who sort of sneaks up and becomes a more prominent part of it. But I'm just going to say this. He's the most beautiful Russian man I have seen. I've laid my eyes on. His name is Yura Borisov. He was born in Rutov, Moscow Oblast. He was named Actor of the Year by GQ Russia in 2020. He's a graduate of the Shepkin Higher Theater School. He worked at a Moscow theater while getting his acting career going. In 2019, he starred in The Bull, and he was nominated for an 18th Golden Eagle Award. That's basically Russia's version of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Association here. So basically their Academy Awards. Kino Reporter noted he was the discovery of the year at that point. He's had minor roles in films like T-34 and Invasion, both of which I've seen. They're actually very good. Did I tell you I tried to learn Russian during the pandemic?
I think so.
Yeah. Not like I can hide it, folks. Yeah, I also revealed that I have a thing for like Russian and Ukrainian men. So of course I love this man. But he starred in 2020's I believe it was called AK-47, but that's the biopic of Mikhail Kalashnikov. For you gun enthusiasts, Kalashnikov created the AK-47 assault rifle. He got the Golden Eagle Award for Best Leading Actor for that film. In 2021, he did 8 features, so he got really, really popular. Netflix's Silver Skates. This is actually based on the American novel Hans Brinker by Mary Mapes Dodge. And then Compartment Number 6. This was a Finnish and Russian co-production. It won the Grand Prix at the 2021 Cannes Film Festival. And next he's slated to play famed Russian author Alexander Pushkin, poet actually, in a biopic called The Prophet. So he is blowing up. And now that this film has won the Palme d'Or, I'm sure he's going to blow up. So Yura Borisov, keep that name on the tip of your tongue. 2 other people I want to point out. Ivy Woke, she has a very small role here as like a sort of like stoner friend of Mickey Madison's. She was on Freeform's Everything's Gonna Be Okay, but she's currently in a supporting role on FX's English Teacher, which is fucking hysterical. If you have not seen this show, it was created by Brian Jordan Alvarez, who's sort of like a YouTube star, openly gay actor. Is he openly gay? Yes, he is. But English Teacher is my must watch. It's a half-hour comedy. Hysterical. The other person I want to point out, he plays the father of Ivan here, Alexei Valerievich Serebriakov. He is a graduate of the Lucharsky State Institute for Theater Arts. He's one of Russia's most famous actors. He's known for the shows Fartsa and The Method. I have seen both of those. They are incredible. Fartsa is a period piece. The Method is kind of like a CSI procedural with a female profiler. He also played Dr. Richter in the series called Dr. Richter, and that was Russia's version of Fox's House, if you're familiar with that television show. He's probably most known for his role as the Russian baddie in 2021's Nobody. That was the 8711 action production starring Bob Odenkirk. And then he was in Andrei Zvyagintseev's Leviathan. He's one of my favorite Russian directors, but Leviathan actually won Best Screenplay at the 2014 Cannes Film Festival, and it won Film of the Year at 2014 BFI London Film Fest. It won the Best Foreign Language Film at the Golden Globes that year and was nominated for Best Foreign Film. It's a gut-wrenching film. It's about a guy who owns a farm property, and the corrupt Russian government wants to take his property. He refuses to sell, and it's so sad. I've also seen it like 5 times. I don't know what that says about me.
I don't know.
And that's the cast. So
Nice. Awesome. Thank you. Great work. I will now do my log line for the film, and then we'll get into our non-spoiler reviews. So
go for it.
Anora is an erotic dancer who hits the gold mine with a Russian boy who is young, dumb, and full of money.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, his parents may not be the happiest in their new relationship. So
I love it.
We'll get into that. Jose, you go first. Non-spoiler review of Anora. What you got for us?
All right. So obviously a lot of expectations. I love Sean Baker. This won the Cannes Film Festival, so I'm always like teed up, like, what am I going to see? Is it going to be great? I think the one negative for this film is there is a stretch of the film that I'm not going to say it gets a little tedious, but there was a part of me that was like, can we move on from this? But in a way, that scene was played for very comic effect, and the setup for that scene for the rest of the film and the catharsis of the film was necessary. So if that's the one complaint I have, it's that. But other than that, this was super engrossing, very entertaining. I laughed. I had emotions. I really dug it. It hit the sweet spot for me. I have a thing for movies about exotic dancers or strippers. So as MC knows, Showgirls is one of my favorite films. Striptease, I mean, all of those films with exotic dancers. Hustlers, like, I just have a thing for them. So this movie hit a sweet spot because not only did it involve people speaking Russians and Russian language, I could actually understand some of the stuff that they were saying. But yeah, it just hit a sweet spot. And I love Mickey Madison. I know her character in Better Things, was pretty whiny and annoying and entitled. But I really liked her in Scream 5. I thought she was really great. And she really holds her own here. You are correct. A lot of Baker's characters are not very likable, but I really bought into like her story and her falling in love. And I think before everybody writes this off as sort of like an indie Pretty Woman, because it sort of has that sort of same feel. Like, there's a young Russian kid, he's here in the States, maybe only momentarily, and he appears to fall in love with her and then asks her to get married, and then it sets up this whole craziness. I'm not even really entirely sure what his father actually does and why they have all that money. But I think what's interesting about the Sean Baker films is that he presents these characters, he's non-judgmental against them, but he understands that the audience is going to have preconceived notions about these people. So we have preconceived notions about women who work as exotic dancers. We have preconceived notions about the fact that, okay, all these people are Russian and they're Armenian. Maybe it's a mafia kind of thing. What exactly are they doing? But again, I bought into this. It is very much like a young person's journey into young love. But I think that the film, especially with its ending, and I think there's a lot of talk about how this film ends and what it really says, and we'll certainly get to that in the spoiler section. But the great thing about Baker is that he takes these sort of outre characters, larger than life characters, hyperbolic situations, but he talks about these themes themes that we can all relate to, right? Falling in love with somebody. Is the person who's falling in love with me, or just the idea of me, or the idea of me, or what I present at that stage of that person's life? Because like you said with Tyler, the Creator, we change and we evolve. And sometimes we fall in love with people that are in a married situation or in some sort of difficult situation, and we can't have it all. We can't have our fairy tale like love interest. But what I think is curious about this film is that it seems to be saying that many of us do not move on, even adults, from playing into what we believe society wants from us or what tradition wants from us. And so we end up in these roles or just our life occupation or interactions with other people where unfortunately it's partially a mask that we are wearing and that we're not really presenting our true selves. And when we end up communicating and finding out who our true people or who the true nature of the person that we're interacting with, it can be a gut-wrenching like wake-up call. Like, I thought you were this. I thought that these actions meant this, but they don't. And the end scene for me just, I'm not going to say it crushed me, but it made me think about the Anora character and everything that we had seen before that. It's also presented in a way that's conflicting, but that's life. That's what I love about films like this, because humans are complex characters and we will do things that are contradictory and say things that are contradictory. I don't know. I found it fascinating, wildly entertaining. The Mickey Madison character, man, does she have a mouth. But you know what? We all curse, we all get a little crazy and stuff. And I don't know. I adored that character. I did not want the Ivan character to have the arc that he had. I was really disappointed in that. But then what happens with another character later, and especially that final shot, I was like, oh my God. Yeah. Fantastic film. Everybody seek this out and see it in the theaters. Please don't wait for streaming, because this is filmed on film, has a very cinematic feel to it, and it's wonderful. And much better than Pretty Woman, because if you don't know the history of that film, Pretty Woman, obviously it's a hooker. This rich guy falls in love with her, and there's all the shenanigans when their worlds collide. But that original script was supposed to have a really downbeat ending and was supposed to be dirtier and grittier, but they made it into a fairy tale. This is that version, but it's so much more than that and so much more wonderful. So yeah, I cannot wait to hear what you think about it.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I have follow-up questions, but I think I'll save them for the spoilers section.
Yeah.
So I will get into my spoiler-free review. I see what you're saying, and I 100% agree. I fucking love this movie. It was so much fun.
Yay.
This is like in my top 3 for the year. It was incredible. I haven't laughed this hard at a movie in so long. We were trying to think about the last movie we really laughed at, and I think American Fiction comes to mind. There were a few moments in that were hilarious, but our theater was going crazy, having the time of their lives. It's so funny, it's heartbreaking, it's sexy, it's suspenseful. Like you said, we don't know the dad's, like the boys' family's background, so you never really know if she's in danger or not whenever it gets to a certain point in the film. And I think that really added to the experience, that you don't know what the family's capable of or what their background is. There's a seamless flow throughout the movie of multiple languages, and even it just feels natural. Like, I was never confused when they're speaking Russian, whenever they're speaking American with a heavy Russian accent. Like, it just flowed so well, and I think that's probably harder to do than you would expect. Like his other films, this talks about a marginalized community with the exotic dancer, but it doesn't diminish who she is as a person. Even the people she works with and the people in her life doesn't diminish who they are. She's just another person trying to find her way in this life. I wonder how much of the showdown scene that you're probably talking about. That's all I'll say. I'll call it the showdown scene. I wonder how much of that was shot in one take. It feels like probably all of it. And it was just really impressive. I didn't get tired of it. I at one point it's like, Jesus, this scene's still going on.
Yes,
but
yes.
that was where my brain went, was like, they had to just do this all in like one take, just go crazy with it, let everyone do their thing, and just see how it went. Mickey Madison rocks. The lungs on that girl were great. She was screaming, is what I'm talking about. She screamed a lot, and it was very impressive.
Yes, okay, sorry.
But maybe the other thing you were thinking too.
I mean, she was gorgeous. I think she's gorgeous. I think she's beautiful.
Yeah.
So was Ivan. My God.
Yeah. It was great. I loved their dynamic, their weird relationship, and I was like, oh my gosh, they do kind of like each other. Like, I was getting into that, and then we get into the second half of the movie, and other relationships start to form in good ways and bad ways, and it was just so interesting. I loved this movie so much. Alexis yesterday was like, can we go see it again? Because we saw it Friday night, and
I totally want to see it again.
Yeah, she's like, what are we doing tonight? Like, can we go see it again? And I was like, let's watch The Florida Project, and then maybe we'll go see it again sometime this week. But yeah, it was awesome. I want everyone to watch this. It's a huge watch. I love it. Top 3 of the year for me.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And it's funny. I took Scooter to see this at the Alamo Draft House, and he was sort of like, I didn't think Alex would pick something like this, and I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, Alex, if Alex could program the rest of the year, it would be indies. It would not be, mainstream like stuff. It would not.
Yeah.
So I was like, there was a part of me that was afraid you were going to be like, it didn't work for me. Mm-hmm. But I'm so glad you loved it.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, if we could review movies like this every week, I would. Oh my gosh, I'd be so happy. I am so happy anyways. But like, this is way better than Venom 3.
Definitely.
And
this is
my problem. Like with Venom 3, I say like some people probably found that funny. I personally didn't find it funny, but I see how people would. It's the type of humor that's in Anora that I find funny. Like, some of it is deadpan, but not all of it. Like, I don't know, or someone says touche wrong and the characters laugh, and like, I don't know, it's so much fun. I felt like I was there with them laughing along, but then other times I'm like laughing at the chaos that's going on. So this is funny.
It feels organic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the scale is smaller. It's not big sets and special effects. It's like real life,
Yeah.
And Baker
100%.
does that really well, especially with his editing.
Yeah. I think I thought like Red Rocket's funny and The Florida Project are funny, but not in the same way as this. I think this is his funniest film and his best film out of the other two that I've seen. Like, this just feels like he's leveled up. He's taken it to a different level, and it feels more cohesive as a movie. Like, there's entertainment as well as the character explorations that you get in a lot of his other movies.
Yeah, definitely. And thank God I'm like the former co-host Red. Thank God I'm kind of a cinemasochist, because rewatching Tangerine was kind of like eye-opening. I kind of was like, okay, now I get the vibe. Like, I think I misunderstood the vibe of it. And now that I know it was shot on iPhones, I was like, okay, because I was like, how cheap is this shit? But then it's really, really good. Before we go into the spoiler section, we should probably mention I think Neon is on a streak here. They did Long Legs, right?
Yep.
With all their guerrilla marketing, hardly spent any money on that, and that was a success. I think this is going to be a huge success, you know?
Yeah, that goes back to the Palme d'Or winners. This is the fifth in a row distributed by Neon specifically.
That's right. So those were Parasite in 2019, Titan or Titane, the girl who has sex with cars movie, Triangle of Sadness, which was, I wanted that to win so much. And instead we got fucking Nolan nuclear bomb shit. Anatomy of a Fall. Wait, was that the same year, Triangle and Oppenheimer?
I thought Anatomy and Oppenheimer
no, it was
were
the year
same
before. Sorry. Okay, so and then Anatomy of Fall, yeah, and then now Anora, which I don't know. I kind of hope Anora wins the Oscar.
It's definitely going to be in the conversation, and if not, something's wrong.
Exactly.
Oh, Everything Everywhere All at Once beat out Triangle of Sadness.
That's right. Okay, that works, but still, I really wanted. I really wanted Triangle of Sadness was something, man.
Yeah, it was definitely between those two films for me, like between who I wanted to win.
Oh yeah.
Did I tell you my experience at Triangle of Sadness? I had to leave the theater early. That was the last time I've been to the movies, and I got candy, popcorn, and a soda, and it destroyed my stomach. And I spent half of the movie in the bathroom before I finally went back to the seat and asked Alexis if we could leave because I missed so much of the movie.
Oh my God. Yep. Well, clearly that combination doesn't work for you.
No, it doesn't. I haven't done it since. And now, even if I get popcorn, I'm like terrified I'm going to spend half the movie in the bathroom. So that was not fun. And it sucks. We had to watch the second half of it on Hulu. So like I could catch back up, and it just wasn't the same as being in the theater.
Yeah.
But you would think the scene in that where everyone has food poisoning and they are having a similar experience that I had, that would have been the culprit of it, but no, I think it was all the sugar.
You had your own Triangle of Sadness.
Yeah, I really did.
All right, so if you have not seen Anora, we are going to spoil it quicker than you can ask for a lap dance in 3, 2, 1. All right, so let's set this up.
Yeah.
As the movie is going along, one of the baddies, played by the most beautiful Russian man in the world, Yura Borisov, it appears that even in the short time that he is brought into this situation, he understands the main character more than anyone in Anora's life. And so at points, he starts to sort of stick up for her. And what's weird is that it's telegraphed very heavily in the, are you calling it the showdown scene where they tie her up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
It's telegraphed very heavily in the showdown scene because when they're asking her questions, the camera's focusing on Yura. And I'm like, why? Like, I mean, I was happy because he was gorgeous, but I was like, what are they doing here? And so at the end of the film, you know, yes, there's a divorce or whatever. She's forced to annul the marriage because they get married in Nevada. It turns out that Ivan is a complete douchebag, a super, as she says, super pussy, you know, who's like a big mama's boy. He has a habit of doing these things, being impulsive, that he's not the person that she thought that he was, and that he was never really in love with her. He was like, basically, well, we don't really know if he was doing it to get back at his parents or if he really was in love with her. Or
I think it was just, he said it was his last trip to America and he wanted to make it memorable, so he just went all out. And I think he was having a good time with her. And I don't know about love, but you know, he was like, yeah, we can get married, but to him, marriage doesn't have the same consequences as it does for you and me. For him, it's like, yeah, I can get married and it won't matter a week from now. Like, obviously it's not gonna last once everything comes crashing down, but I think he did like her.
Okay.
But he knew it was temporary.
Yes, but she didn't. And so this, to me, before we go on to that ending, and then more of Yura, to me, that was the big theme of the film that ran through all of the characters, which is we present ourselves to the world, however we do it, right?
Mhm.
And we want to be loved and we want to be attractive and we want people to love us. But the disconnect comes when the emotions aren't the same on the other side. And so we follow Anora, who is an exotic dancer. Like by nature, her work, and I'm not even going to say it's sex work. I mean, she parlayed the exotic dancing to sex work, right?
Mhm.
But it's all superficial. And so when she is feeling these things for him, and he's sort of promising implicitly that these things are going to happen, there's going to be money, there's going to be a big mansion, but you know, I mean, I thought the first time I was like, whose fucking place is that? It's not his. Okay.
Yeah.
Especially when he was like, where's the fucking water? You don't know where the water is in your own goddamn place,
Mhm.
right? But that was the heartbreaking thing, because she thought, hey, this is my ticket out. I fell in love with somebody. He loves me back. And we're going to have this wonderful life together. And it just wasn't true, because it wasn't what he was feeling.
I wasn't sure if she loved him. I think she loved the idea of him, like you're saying, like, oh, I'm going to get out of stripping. Like, I'm going to live this bougie life. We're going to do whatever we want. And then once that started to slip away from her, I think that's when she kind of like went for it even more and was like, no, I actually am in love with him, like as kind of a last grasp at the concept of it.
So I think what's interesting about the movie is they don't give you that answer. We don't know if she goes all out like that or goes hard like that because she truly is in love, or she wants the ticket out.
Mhm.
Right? I prefer to think she really did love him, but back to the ending, Yura ends up supporting her in some ways. They get the divorce. He takes her back, takes care of her, basically. They kind of spend a night together talking, and it's clear they kind of have feelings for each other, right?
Mhm.
And then when she goes to drop him off, the final scene is that, you know, he gives her back this like multi-million-dollar 4-carat diamond ring that he sort of kept and like
Mhm.
gave to her. And then her immediate thing is she gives him a lap dance or tries to have sex with him
Yeah.
to show gratitude,
Mhm.
right? And then at some point, it almost becomes violent. She sort of like starts to hit him, like almost like, I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to have to sleep with you. You weren't the one that I wanted to be with.
I think he's trying to kiss her.
Yes, that's it.
And that's something that like it's
And
him
she's like,
expressing
no.
that he like cares about her, wants that type of connection instead of just sex. And yeah, that's
Right.
when she gets violent.
And then she gets violent and says, you're not the one that I wanted to do this with. And then she just breaks down crying, and he's hugging her, and then the film ends.
Yeah. Oh my
And
gosh.
so, I mean, that was like, to me, that was the first time you saw an authentic Anora, because the
Mhm.
entire film, you can't tell. Is it performative? Did she just get locked into this whole like, this is how I'm supposed to present myself, this is the only way I'm gonna find love? Like, it's a real conundrum. And the same way with Yura too. Like, in this showdown scene that we're gonna get to, he's sort of like the violent muscle, and then they have that conversation. He's like, why would you think I would try to rape you? And she's like,
Mhm.
well, because you tied me up or whatever. And again, it just reinforces that whole like, yes, actions speak louder than words, but I think what's more important is a communication about the motivation or the basis with which you do these things. Let's get married. Why do you want to get married? But
Yeah.
instead, we rush in as young people. But I think the point of the film, rush in. Yes, correct. We rush in as young people when we're in love like that. But I think the other stronger message about the film is that the adults are no better. They are all performative, right? Like, the Russian boss is going to kill me, so now I've got to do this. And they don't take into account Ivan's feelings or Anora's feelings. You know,
Yeah.
it's a really strong work. What did you think about that ending?
Yeah, you got me thinking now of a scene at the beginning where Anora is talking to the other stripper that's her friend, and Anora has like tattoos of butterflies, and her friend has tattoos of money, and it kind of made me think about the ending. Like that is her, like when she starts crying, that's her busting out of the cocoon. She's no longer in that cocoon that we see her as the stripper, like you're saying, like the persona she's putting on, but now she's being herself in front of this man that she loves, and she's like letting her wings, which are her tears or whatever, out. um
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's interesting. And I did
I mean,
like,
you know, by design, the beginning of the film really it almost not tediously, but it almost like follows her moving from client to client to client to client to client. If you think about that, that's her job. And
yeah,
when you're doing that every night, what does that do to your psyche? And you know what I
yeah.
mean?
And I thought it was interesting. We do get to see that early on with that scene I'm talking about. We see that she's different from, I guess, other strippers or what you would expect, because her friend has the dollar signs tattooed, and she's like, oh, like, yeah, you got to get that money. This is you manifesting it or whatever. And she doesn't see herself that way. Like she sees herself as a butterfly, and through being a butterfly, she'll get money or whatever. But I'm thinking of the movie Zola, how like the
Yeah.
Riley Keough character and the Taylor Page's character, both of them like just want money. That is their sole purpose of this. But hers feels a little bit deeper through that scene, where we do see that she's a butterfly and not just focused on the dollar signs. But yeah, that ending, heartbreaking. I wasn't sure which way it was going to go, because they're in that car. It's like a crummy old car. The Igor character says, oh, she's like, nice car or whatever, or your car's a lot like you. And he's like, thank you, it's my grandma's car, which is so cute. He's so likable throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
And then he's like, what do you think about it? She's like, yeah, it's old or something like that. I don't
Or she
remember.
was
And it's
something like, it fits you, it's a piece of shit, or so. I don't know. She said she
yeah,
actually degrades him a little bit in
exactly.
the fact that it's like, yeah.
Yeah, and he like set her up. He was like, do you like it? To see if she liked him. Like it was right there, and she does not give into it. And I was just like, fuck, is this how this is going to end? They're not going to be together. And then he had the ring and the final exchange between them. It was heartbreaking, but cathartic, and
he took
it
her
meant a lot.
bags out and put them at the front door and came back into the car. Like,
Yeah.
So again, there, you know, I just feel like it's so well written, because they're reinforcing that whole, like, what's performative, what actions are, you know, just presentation, and what is the real person through their actions. Because there's that scene at the diner where she's like, you know, give me those oxys or whatever. And he's like, I don't have any more. And she's like, well, you're a drug dealer, aren't you? And he's like, who said I was a drug dealer?
Yeah.
You know?
He's like, those are my grandma's pills.
Right. And there are other surprises like that too. Like Toros is referred to, and we're expecting this gangster, and it cuts to the fact that he's like an Armenian priest, and he's doing a baptism, right? And then he's getting these calls. Oh my God, while he's holding the fucking baby, right?
Yeah.
But just this whole, like, you know, appearances aren't everything, and it's just so well written, because as an audience, we get snowed by Ivan. You know, it should not be a surprise that Ivan is not the person that she thinks he is, and he's just a complete asshole. But like, we get snowed in by all of that too. We're like, oh, he's so beautiful, and look, they fuck all the time, and he's taking care of her, and you know.
I thought from the trailer his family was going to be like Russian gangsters, and they were going to take him away, like kidnap him basically. And instead he leaves of his own volition. He leaves without her, intentionally leaves without her, and runs away. And that was so sad. And we think, okay, these guys that are here, especially the Igor character that we've been talking about, he shows up and they're like, okay, you're the muscle. You're here if things get out of hand. If his friends are here and we have to fight, that's why you are here.
Right.
Like, don't touch her. Don't like hurt anyone unless it like gets to that. So the whole time we're like, okay, this guy's like a badass.
Yeah.
He's going to rip people's heads off possibly. And he's just so sweet the entire time. And the other two people that, like you said, we expect them to be gangsters. The one guy's big and burly. It's just used to comedic effect. The expectations we see from them, like you've been saying, isn't what reality is.
So the showdown scene is they show up, the two Russian, the Armenian guy and then the Russian muscle, presumably, and then Ivan just flees, and then she tries to get out of there, and they're trying to restrain her so that she doesn't. And there's this long, almost Tarantino-esque drawn-out thing where they're trying to restrain her while Toros is coming, but she ends up like breaking the one guy's nose.
Yeah, she's biting them.
They go through the coffee table. Did you see how Igor sat on the so the coffee table was like a statue of somebody kneeling with their arms out, and then he like sat on the thing's shoulders when he sat down. Did you notice that?
No.
I started laughing my ass off, but yeah, that scene I was like, okay, let's move it along a little bit, but
I didn't feel that way at all.
I know. It's so Tarantino-esque and fantastic. It really is good.
But like you mentioned, how when things are going on and it's lingering on the Igor character, as soon as we were introduced to him, there's like Ivan and the other big guy are fighting, like they're yelling back and forth at each other. Mickey or Anora is laying on the couch and she's like, what the fuck's going on? And Igor's sitting there with her and he like turns to her and he's like, how are you doing? Or something like that. Yeah, he just says hi, and like
I'm eager.
The way it sets them up immediately, you can tell he's different. Like his interactions with her are different. And it was so nice. He like brought that scarf for her. And the way that she just tries to tear him down the whole time. They go out looking for the Ivan character.
Yeah.
Going to anywhere he's been trying to find it. And just their interactions during that whole thing. That was the part that I was kind of like, okay, maybe wrap it up when they're trying to find him.
Yeah, that was a little long drawn out, but
so like they went to, what's the carnival thing?
Coney Island.
Coney Island. There we go. I kept wanting to say
they
Long
went that
Island.
far. Yeah.
Yeah, they went to Coney Island, and once they realized he wasn't there, I was like, well, maybe check the strip club. And then they don't think that for hours and hours
for
and
eons.
hours.
I mean, they're in a fucking diner eating.
Yeah, and I was like, that was the only part that I was like, okay, maybe this is going on a little too long. But we did get a lot throughout that journey. When the big guy throws up.
Oh my God, from the concussion. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, from her kicking him. The towing scene. It was really good. I love this movie.
And then the whole thing, like, they were like, it's a 5-minute walk from here or whatever. And then she's like, no, we're fucking driving these. It's a 5-minute walk. And then they get there and she's like, that was more than 5 minutes.
Yeah, their walk back, it was like sunset whenever they were leaving the restaurant.
And he had the scarf.
Oh my God. So cute.
So what's interesting about the Yura character is he says the least, but his actions are true to his nature, unlike everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wanted to go home with him. I was like,
me too, man. I couldn't believe they basically told Anora, they were like, this is getting annulled and you are never going to see him again, but we'll give you $10,000 or maybe it's $15,000. I don't know.
I think it was 10,000.
And I was so surprised that she wasn't fighting for more. But I guess in hindsight now, it's like,
maybe did she get the money from Ivan already? It was all up front.
Yeah, but this was for the annulment. If she would go on with a divorce and like get a lawyer, she would get way more than that. But I was like, yeah, she got paid 15K to spend a week with him. Shouldn't she get more than $10,000 for an annulment? Like, she should
That's
have
what
been
I'm
arguing.
saying.
She should have been like, I make 15 grand a week. You're going to have to pay me a lot more than 10K. But I think at this point she was just kind of defeated and didn't ask for more.
Actually, you know what's funny is Scooter leaned over to me when they parked at Coney Island, and he was like, you know, he's going to be at the strip club where she works. And I'm like, I'm like, shut up. he does that a lot. But the other thing that just occurred to me was that the other deficiency in the script was, everybody should know this, but if you get married in a state, the only way you can annul it or divorce is to go back to that state. And so the whole time I was like, what is this New York courthouse shit? You have to go to Nevada. You have to go to Las Vegas.
So nobody else knew that he got married in Vegas. Like, the Toros character and his parents didn't know.
Right. Yes. Yeah. I thought she had mentioned that during the showdown, though.
I don't know.
Oh my God,
had a lot going on.
And now I'm laughing and thinking about the priceless image where Igor has his hands around Anora, and her back is to his front, and all you see are like his eyes, and they're just like lying there, and he's like, I'm not moving, or whatever.
Yeah.
So
I loved how they, like, Toro shows up and he's like, let her go, why is she tied up? And they're like, no, don't do it. Oh my gosh.
But you know what? That was that's the comedy of like threes or whatever. Like, he tries to restrain her, she tries to run away. The big guy is like, let her go, and he's like, she's gonna run away. And then she tried to run away. And then Toro shows up. So really well written. Man, Baker, home run.
Yeah. How did you feel about there's like the weird drama with the ugly stripper at the strip club?
Ginger cunt?
Yeah. Actually, that reminds me. The Anora character, I felt there were so many times that she should have just beaten some ass.
Yes.
One of them was at the end when they find him at the strip club. Another time was with the rich mom. She should have just hauled off and beaten some ass at some point. And she never really does outside of the showdown scene.
Which is odd, right?
Yeah. I guess, do you have any thoughts on that? Any explanation why?
I don't really have any feelings on that. I'm just glad that she whooped that ginger, or tried to whoop that ginger stripper's butt.
I was gonna say, she didn't really, like, they started to kind of fight, but I wanted to see her like grab a bottle and
totally.
Yeah.
I did love the sort of like subtle message about like surrogate families in some ways. So you had the Armenians who were kind of like family to Ivan, and then you had all the strippers who are kind of like family to Anora, because when they go in there and they're opening up the doors, which is so embarrassing to like the Johns, I guess, but they're opening up the doors, and a couple of the strippers are like, hey, I heard so-and-so was there, or, oh, do you want help? And they're all like running around trying to
like, Annie's here.
That's like her family. Yeah. I love it. Any other comments?
I don't think so. I think that's all I had.
Yeah. What video game was he playing? Do you know?
I think it was Gears of War.
Okay.
But I could be wrong. It didn't look like any game I'd played.
Okay. Maybe it was the Russian edition.
Yeah. That's a nice house, though.
Oh my God. Where is that? I mean, you could see the Manhattan skyline, but I'm like, where in New York is that? It looked like a compound.
Yeah. As soon as they showed up, I was like, this is a nice place. And then we go inside and see it. Oh man.
It had an elevator.
Yeah. Oh, the scene where it was like snowy.
Yeah.
It was the last day when she like woke up after, and Igor was downstairs or whatever, and she's like standing there looking out at the snow. Oh, I like that shot.
It was nice. Although I think it was faked.
Fuck that. I'm pissed.
I think it was faked. It looked like fake snow. Also, here's a funny thing. When the big guy is chasing after Igor, he slips and falls. And then in the next shot, there's a long shot. And literally, this driveway is like huge. It's wide. And there's like one fucking patch of ice. And he happens to slip on the one fucking patch of ice. I thought that was pretty magnificent, just because that's my luck. I remember in College Park, I was crossing like the big quad where McKeldin Library is or whatever. The one fucking ice patch I slipped on in the entire concrete plaza.
R.I.P.
So anyway, all right. It's oh, you know what? We didn't even do verdicts for back then, but it's a super watch.
It's a watch.
Hard watch for both of us. Like, just people get up on it, please.
Yeah,
like,
I'm going to be
like
recommending this.
Get on it like a stripper.
Yep, I'm going to be recommending this to so many people for so long. Like, I think at the end of the year, people always are asking, "What's your favorite movie you saw this year?" I'm gonna be like, "You guys have to check out Anora."
Yeah. Okay, let's do it now. Do you think Mickey Madison is going to be nominated for her performance?
Sure, why not?
So this is weird. I want her to be nominated. There's a part of me that thinks she'll get a Golden Globe, but at the Oscars, I think that this film will get Best Picture, Best Director, Best Original Screenplay nominations, but maybe not for actress. And I don't know why, because she's really, really good in this, but I think that the Academy might be like, well, she's going to go on to bigger and better. And so I think the only nods that this movie may get, again, are Best Director, Best Original Screenplay, Best Cinematography, yes, and then Best Picture. But I could be wrong.
Okay. I looked up 2025 Oscars Best Actress predictions, and she's the first person to come up. Everyone's like, her, Angelina Jolie for Maria, Tilda Swinton for The Room Next Door, Nicole Kidman, Baby Girl, and Carla Sofia Gasson for Emilia Perez.
Oh, I want to see that. Isn't that
I've
the
never
musical
heard of
with Zoe Saldana?
No idea.
Yeah, I think it's a musical. I don't know. Maybe I'm on crack. I read too many trades. I need to
It's
stop.
a French musical crime comedy film.
Yeah. But I love Zoe Saldana.
Selena Gomez is in it as well.
I want to be as skinny as Zoe Saldana. All right. And so I will just segue into now purchasing all of Yura Borisov's films on Blu-ray. I'm just kidding.
There you go. What are we watching next week?
I don't know. What are we watching next week?
Is that a Heretic?
I want it to be Heretic, but I think there's something bigger. Hold on. Box office.
Oh.
By the way, I saw a trailer for that and it completely ruined everything. This is why I hate trailers, folks. I really do. So our calendar. Let's see. And good choice, by the way, on Anora. Peek behind the curtain, folks. Anora wasn't available to me, and so I had to drive all the way to the Alamo Draft House to be able to see it. But it was worth it. It was worth it.
I'm not watching Red One.
Oh,
if that's what you want, if you think I'm going to watch that, I do not want to watch Red One.
No, I know. Remember on the episode when I teased it, I was like, "What bullshit is that?"
Yeah,
it's actually didn't I say it was supposed to be an Amazon Prime film? I think they moved to theatrical. Holy shit!
No idea. Chris
Evans wears the worst hairpiece in that fucking movie. Watch the trailer again. You will yak. So yeah, let's try to do let's do Andre Bocelli 30, The Celebration. I'm just kidding. There is some sci-fi thriller called Elevation. I don't know what that is. But yeah, Heretic.
I'd rather see Heretic.
Let's do the Heretic.
Cool, let's do it. The week after, not the week after that. The week after that actually looks like that's when Red One goes wide.
Okay.
And then here, the Tom Hanks movie.
No.
Yeah, I don't want to see either of those.
I think I would rather have somebody fart on my face.
I'm very
Sit
worried.
through here.
I'm very worried about that week. We may not have an episode. Who knows? But then the week after that, we have Gladiator 2 and Wicked.
Oh no, which one are we going to watch?
Gladiator 2. Wicked is 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Defying gravity. Maybe we can do a double. That will be our double. No, because that's 4 hours between.
Yeah.
That's
That's
5
5.
hours.
That's over 5 hours between
It's
the
like
two
6 hours. Well, you
That's
know what?
insane.
That's going to be my plus. Anyway, okay.
of them.
All right, folks. More peek behind the curtain. Hey, you know what? YouTubers, listeners, Spotify watchers, listeners, everybody, leave a comment. What should we review next
Yeah.
week? Especially that showdown. Should it be Gladiator, which apparently features ships in a coliseum? I need to see this. Or Wicked, which is a musical, which I love. So vote. Oh, thumbs down. You know what? You would see it if Tyler the Creator was in Wicked.
I would.
All right, so please like, subscribe, follow, spread the word about us. Please leave a review, leave a comment. It makes, the Skynet put the word out about our podcast. So if you love us, you'll also love these other podcasts, Gentleman's Guide to Midnight Cinema and Not a Bomb. Those are our pod fathers. Not a Bomb recently did Bones and mentioned me in my Evita musical, which is great. Gentleman's Guide did Hellraiser, the seminal, amazing horror film Hellraiser. If you love us, also you'll love Night of the Living podcast, the Wild Dream podcast. I love those guys, Daniel and David. They're doing more on their Twitch and Discord. I think they had a live event for Halloween. I couldn't attend. I missed that. Hopefully they'll do more. Death by DVD, Raiders of the Podcast, Backlook Cinema, the YouTube channel, and now for something a little bit different, I am going to be appearing on their Jeff Bridges series, and we're doing Winter Kills. That's going to be the next episode. Caliber 9 from Outer Space and Feminine Critique. I'm still looking at the camera rather than looking at the screen. So, this is a great back catalog of podcasts if you want to listen. Married with Clickers, VHS Files, Silva and Gold, Cult of Muscle, something called Friends with Cinefits, and Alex.
I'm Alex. He's Jose. This is Watch Skip Plus, Save Exhibition by Physical Media, and we will see you at headquarters.
By the way, did you love that she had a pole in her bedroom so that she
I
could
did
practice?
not notice that.
Oh, it's on the far right of the screen when the sister comes in and is like, "Did you buy milk?" And I was like, "Of course she has a practice pole."
I love it.
I'll be sourcing for Christmas. Scott, I wanna practice pole in our bedroom. Anyway. All right.
Nice. Bye, listeners.
Bye. Love you guys.